New breed, global truth. Shalom, shalom. What's good, everybody? It's your brother New Breed coming through with another live stream. As y'all enter the stream, make sure y'all thumb the video up for me. And we are right back with another exclusive broadcast. I want to talk about the black gatekeepers. Yes, indeed. We're talking about Omega Psi Phi. Today, you're gonna get a good understanding on the dark side of these fraternities. Now, if you look up at your screen, you see the Omega Psi Phi Hall of Fame right there. You got some notable figures on that list. Take a look at it. I mean, look. Amongst some honorable mentions, right? Yeah, is that Jesse Jackson right there? I see Shaquille O'Neal right there. You know, Steve Harvey's on this list too. Is that Jason Whitlock in the top corner right there? And look down at the lower left-hand corner here. None other than your boy, Ricky Smiley. And for those who have not caught my previous broadcast, evidently, it was Omega Psi Phi's 100-year reunion, or 100 years since they've been founded. It was their celebration. The morning that Ricky Smiley's son, Brandon Smiley, mysteriously passes on. Yeah, the day of, bro. Now, that seems real odd. So I proposed a question for y'all on the last stream. And that question is, did Ricky Smiley do his son dirty for the Brotherhood? I mean, he's amongst some honorable mentions. And, you know, one thing a lot of these people have in common is a lot of them have, you know, a lot of people close to them who seem to have passed away when you do your research on these individuals. I mean, but this list is extensive. What you see right here on this particular board here is just scratching the surface. I mean, you got Michael Jordan. Yeah, he's a part of the Brotherhood. He's one of the gatekeepers, in fact. You got who else, man? You got none other than Steve Harvey. Yeah. You got, and if y'all know some of these names on here, throw them in the chat. Feel free, because it's exposure season. You got D.L. Hughley. Yeah. And you know, that's crazy because I want y'all to think about this. Yeah, you got Shaq. Yeah, them Q dogs, there's something about them Q dogs. And you know, that's exactly the same fraternity they wanted me to join when I was in Allen University and a historical black college over there by Benedict College in South Carolina. They wanted me to join the very same organization. And at the time I was working on my music and getting notoriety from my music. So they were trying to recruit me. So they see people with certain talents and they like to go after those individuals. But I want to ask y'all a question, right? Let me ask y'all this. What do you believe the chances are that all of these individuals, such as Shaq, Michael Jordan, Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, and Ricky Smiley, what do you think the chances of all these individuals actually becoming famous? And mind you, ladies and gentlemen, they're all from the same demographic. They all from the same age bracket. All of these individuals happen to get in the door of success practically all at once. When you look at it, whatever was promised to them, it actually came true. Now, what's the chances of that happening unless this is a very elite, powerful group of individuals? Yeah. Somebody in the chat says, what a coinky dink. Yeah. For the record, no such thing as coincidences. Somebody said the study of the occult, right? But this is crazy right here, but we got to get into it because the rabbit hole goes deep. Friendship is essential to the soul. So these people are more than likely all connected. All connected. Now, peep this, y'all. We're going to go in today. I've been doing my research on these fraternities for quite some time now, right? And I've come to the understanding that it's a very dark atmosphere to be involved in. Very dark. It's very sinister. It's Masonic. Some of the rituals that are, rituals that are conducted are just, I mean, they're totally bizarre. I mean, the only word I got for them is bizarre. I've been reading a few PDFs on what they actually do, and it's very similar to the Masons. I mean, very similar. And when you're looking at all of these individuals who acquired success, acquired fame, you know, you would think that they had to go through the rituals. Now, I want to go ahead and I want to share something on my screen for y'all, just so you can get a greater understanding on these fraternities, right? In case you're considering joining because you see people are becoming successful joining these things. I'm hoping to deter you from doing that, right? Let's see here. Fair use, by the way, federal law allows citizens to redistribute portions of copyright material for the purposes of teaching, edification, and so forth. Y'all bear with me. Now, I want y'all to peep this.
Going on YouTube. Happy Halloween. Today we have a new segment called Beyond Code. We're going to do some movie reviews today. We got a special movie for you. It's called Hazing. It's produced by Byron Hurt, and it's on the PBS network. Man, the movie is very controversial. I'm going to let y'all see for yourselves, and then we can talk and have a discussion about it. Y'all can leave some comments down below. So look, we're going to roll into the trailer right now. Then we're going to roll into the full clip that I want to have
fair use
discussion about. And then my segment is focused around the exploitation of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated in this movie. So y'all stay tuned. Check this out.
And they're talking about Kappa, but we're going to also go into Omega. I'm going to share a different source with you, but I want y'all to check this out. And I'm definitely going to go watch this movie right here because we need more understanding on the abusive rituals and what these people got to go through. Because, ladies and gentlemen, exactly what they do in these fraternities is the example of trauma bonding. It is the example of trauma bonding. Now, before we even get into this, man, I want to read a scripture for y'all because, you know, these things been going on for a while, and the Most High forewarned us not to deal with these things, take these type of oaths. When you go to Matthew chapter 5, verse 33, it reads, again, yea, have heard that it has been said by them of old time, thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shalt perform unto the Lord thine oaths. You should not forswear thyself. That means you should not curse yourself. That means not stating claim to what you were born as, which is an Israelite. not to curse yourself by taking pledges and oaths. He said the only oath you should be pledging is to the Most High. You only should be pledging to the Lord, because people was taking these pledges for a long time, joining secret societies and fraternities, right? Let us continue.
I love being in a Greek-led organization. It's a vibrant community, but membership can come at
They
a
go Omega, Phi Psi, or Psi Phi. You seen them?
heavy cost. We were taking well over 100 strokes per night.
Push-ups, liquor, chug until you throw up.
It's peer pressure.
They were taking 100 strokes per night. Goodness, some of y'all not even giving y'all wives that many strokes per night. You hear me? Seriously. But these grown men were getting paddled, beat, forswearing themselves, bending over for other men. You know what? That stuff is weird, y'all. It's weird.
In its rawest form.
I didn't want to let my pledge sisters down.
You never should have to die to belong.
It's our silence that's an act of betrayal. But that all ends now.
Yeah, you have some people who whistle blow and speak out against what they've experienced. And we'll go to a couple of those stories when it comes to Omega Phi Psi Phi.
All right, we're gonna get into the full clip.
No matter how negative it is, to feel part of the organization, I want to experience that too.
And they see that's the group herd mentality of most people. Everybody want to go be a part of something. That's one of our people's worst weaknesses, that we always feel like we got to be a part of something. We can't stand our own. Let me tell you, Leviticus 5:4 says, or if a soul swear pronouncing with his lips to do evil or to do good, whatsoever it be that a man shall pronounce with an oath, and it be hid from him, when he knoweth of it, then he shall be guilty in one of these. So notice they said no matter if it's good or bad, no matter how bad it get, they want to be a part of it so bad that they're willing to take these oaths. They're willing to give themselves up just to be a part of this. The Lord said you basically plaguing yourself. You destroying yourself. Crazy, man, how these scriptures jump right off the page, right? Let's go.
The thing my brother told me when I told him that I was interested in becoming a member was, you'll be fine. Dad went through it. I went through it.
Y'all know who that is on the right. Ain't that Lamont? What's his name? Lamar Jamal? Lamont, what is his name, y'all? That guy right there, if y'all know his name, put it in the chat. I know it's like Lamont something. I know he got a TV show too. You see, it's like all these people end up making it somewhere. Even he's speaking about this particular order.
You'll be okay. As long as you ain't no bitch ass.
What is it, Lamont Jamal Hill or something? He said, you'll be okay. Dr. Mark Lamont. All right. He said, long as you ain't no B, you can get through. Let me explain some of the things they have to do to show you how real it is and how blasphemous it is with the Omega Psi Phi. I don't know what he's pledged, but let me tell you what these Q dogs have to do. During the initiation process, they make them brothers read Psalms chapter 90. All right. And that is Moses' prayer to the Most High. He's praying for strength to carry on, to deliver his people. He's praying because they're going to have to face a whole lot. And he's praying that they can get through it. Right? And that's what they must do. Pray that they can make it through hell and high water, pretty much. And that would tell you off the break, if these individuals got to pray like that, got to go to Psalms 90 And during Psalms 90, it also says, Lord, we pray that this will end soon. Basically, we pray that this will be over soon, Lord. That's how they be in these fraternities. Because we about to go through some agonizing pain just to be a part of the brotherhood. London, thank you for the $10 contribution. Says, thanks for bringing it out. New breed, I lost a parent and family member fraternities with their witchcraft. Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. See? That's crazy.
He said it like a joke, but I can't lie. Like, that was in the back of my mind. But then when you go through this process, and you sitting there like, I don't want to drop because I don't want people to think that's me.
So, man, they going through that process. They don't drop out just because they're afraid of what their constituents and peers are going to think. And these people be really experiencing that, emotional damage. They be emotionally scarred, man. They be trauma bonded. What they go through is sick in order to formulate a brotherhood. Crazy. I don't play with the music. Let's see.
The desire and pressure to experience the pledge process is even greater. It was for Brent, the son of a Kappa.
Hanging in there, maintaining. Good to see you. Doing all right? Maintaining in this world of pain.
Hey, I said my daddy was frat before me. That's right. Yeah, my mama was in the sorority, and that ain't no.
All right, we ain't gonna play around with this music. Too much music. Y'all get the gist of it. I actually got more sources to show. I showed exactly what I wanted to show in here. But that's how all these sororities work, man. And I would just check the movie out. That's what, that's the best advice I got for that. So they got a lot going on here. But let's go specifically to the brotherhood, the fraternity, the industry fraternity. Yeah, all these people happen to be in fame. All these people happen to be either athletes or in radio. Either they picking the best of the best, or when they join, they getting promised something. And a lot of them individuals, they don't make it out of college until they join. They're purposely held back. Now, there's a brother who wants to share his story of why he denounced Omega Psi Phi. He wants to be a living testimony. I'm going to chime in on a lot of the things he had to say. Hey, GHP, you right, the game is rigged. Yup, and I believe it is homosexuality right at the core of the fraternity. Straight up. All right, allow me to continue. Let's hear this brother's testimony of why he dropped out of the fraternity. Let's hear what he has to say. Let's go.
Testimony, and I say to others, you're not alone. Many have come out of Black Greek letter organizations and other secret societies because of their personal relationship with Jesus Christ. We will continue to pray for our brothers and sisters in.
And notice he said a lot of people come out of the secret society. He calls it a secret society. Not just a boys group or a club that you join in college. No, this brother referred to it exactly what it is. It's a secret society. And we've been warned not to get involved with this. And because of his relationship with Christ, he had to leave because he knows it's a dark force operating behind the scenes in those fraternities. Listen, James 5:12 tells us, but above all things, my brethren, swear not, neither by heaven, neither by the earth, neither by any other oath, but let your yeas be yeas and your nays be nay, lest ye fall into condemnation. He said, listen, don't swear by anything on this earth, such as an idol. neither shall you be given any other oath, bruh. So you in direct violation. You in direct violation when you join one of these fraternities. You cannot play both sides. If you join these fraternities, you working for Satan, straight up. Get out while you still can.
Inside and outside of these organizations, I was a Q dog, an Omega man. Let me give a real testimony out of love for all of y'all's children in and out of secret societies. After 6 years of failed attempts to cross the burning sands into Omega land, I finally crossed Spring 92, my pledge process that took place.
Man, around the time he pledged and got in, that's where some of the hazing was, it was heinous back then. Around, matter of fact, around the time where Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey, Michael Jordan, Shaq, D.L. Hughley, around the time all them brothers was involved, it wasn't no joke. It wasn't like the society we live in now. No, it was no parameters when it came to the vile and detestable acts that took place when you was trying to pledge, bro. It was going down around that time. That's crazy. Them people was getting whipped like slaves out there.
In the years 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, and 91 contained more hazing than intake processes nowadays. Broken teeth and arms, near-death experiences were part of being in a fraternity in that era.
Damn, bro. Did you hear that? Broken teeth and arms? That's what it was in that era. So we talking about, man, it was wicked. So if you survived it, you wasn't gonna give it up for nothing. So it's safe to say that Ricky Smiley ain't gonna jeopardize his brotherhood for nothing. Whatever is required. Now, this goes into mind control, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of mind control experiments are being conducted in these colleges to keep you on track. This is MK Ultra that they doing on you to make sure you don't step out of line. To make sure you're gonna do whatever is necessary. I'm telling you, bro, it's crazy. Bruh said it's broken teeth, broken legs around this time. So this stuff is deep. And if you can imagine, listen, the average Scottish Rite or York Rite Freemason, they don't have to undergo this. Imagine how Negroes are going to do other Negroes. Imagine how they're going to do other Negroes. We already seen how those police officers did Tyree Nichols, right? See, when you have black people in charge of something, it's going to get way more barbaric. It's going to get way more animalistic because you're talking about people who are already emotionally scarred and people who get a little piece of power and they get to feel like the slave master. So if you can imagine, they're not giving up. They're not giving up the brotherhood for nothing. And somebody in the chat says one of the Memphis cops was actually a Q dog. I do not doubt that whatsoever. They say that one of the officers was a Q dog, and they also say, and this is a rumor, that just like I predicted in my previous stream, I said that maybe the young man had dealt with somebody's wife. They're claiming that one of the officers, I believe it was the one that picked up the baton, they say that his ex-girlfriend worked at the same FedEx as Tyree Nichols. And this is just a rumor as of now. None of this evidence has been substantiated, but it did seem like it was personal. Somebody said the sounds of childish LOL gunshots really. All right, how about this? Let me do you a favor, sir. Let's block you. Now you don't get to speak. Now, let us continue.
That I lived in, and truth be told, is still a part of being in the organization if you really want to be made versus paper. This was the time when a young man from Norfolk State dropped line and sued the fraternity. Back then, to me, he was wrong. I viewed him as a betrayer, a sellout. But this young man was a gospel singer whose jaw was broken by one of his big brothers. I was also beat down and did plenty of beating during my time in the fraternity.
Now, he admit that he done plenty of beating in his time on the fraternity. That he was hands-on with the initiation process, and he was doing what he was doing. And he's saying that, you know, it was people in there who chose the Lord, but it was people who continue going down the wrong path.
Served as an assistant dean of pledges and a dean of pledges. I've been in things that are too graphic to really mention in the public square. I also have witnessed women being sexually abused. When I was a nasty Q dog, my attitude was they wanted it. Today I carry scars.
Wow. He said when he was in the Q dog, his attitude was they wanted it. And now he carries scars. Hey, listen, man. We talking about slipping these women Mickeys. We talking about all of that. See, they got to do the rituals to be initiated. They say that there was women being sexually assaulted, man. I'm talking about, this is crazy. Yo, thank you for the $5 contribution. Nick Fisher says, former black frat members here. The ties to Freemasonry are in every black frat and sorority. The rituals, oaths, and Bible twisting was crazy. Yeah, they actually use the scriptures just to show you how blasphemous they are. And they'll go ahead and morph and distort the word of God to try to make it fit their narrative. That's why these are some of the most psychotic people in the world. Luke 6:38 tells us, give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together and running over. Shall men give into your bosom, for with the same measure that ye meet withal, it shall be measured to you again. Listen, all you got to do is treat people the right way. All you got to do is live your life and be fair and just with how you do things, with your scales and with balance, and everything will be handed to you. That's literally what it is, man. Charity covered a multitude of sins. You don't have to join these fraternities and be beat and hurt and violated and humiliated to be somebody and be something. All you gotta do is treat people the right way, bro. But let us continue.
Busted up tooth, brands on my chest, arms, and legs. I gave up blood, sweat, and tears for a meg. I remember before I crossed, 2 brothers quit the frat because of religious convictions. But the other brothers kept it on the down low. Those brothers never really came back to witness, well, to me. Those of us in the fraternity just put it out of our minds like it's a rumor. That following summer, my best friend, who was an alpha, was getting married, and his wife, who was a member of another sorority, had a line sister in the wedding who witnessed to me. I went up to her because the word was going around the wedding party, like, you know, she used to be a Delta.
So, you know, they got to make sure that they are engaged with or dealing with people who are also pledging. You know, they got to be pledging something for them to have romantic relationships with them and whatever the case may be. And Peep the brother said, listen, there was people who left because of their religious convictions, which means there was some real demonic stuff going on in there. This brother said, look, he's seen things that he can't even discuss openly. He can't even discuss certain things. And he already talked about women being assaulted sexually, all kind of things, right? So if it was something worse than that, one can only imagine. There were more than likely rituals involved. I mean, blood sacrifices were more than likely on the table. Poisoning people. See, we're not even going to discuss how much loss of life it was. Crazy.
I'm like, you know, I'm fresh off of Neo, fresh off the sands. I'm like, you know, why'd you leave the sorority? And she said, because she got saved. I was like, wow. But the preacher who performed the wedding ceremony was a Q. So I was just like, she tripping. But I was really the one tripping. I was in the basement of the church drinking brews, getting drunk. I really didn't care about no religion. Years later, after studying all types of religion, I while pursuing my music career all over the United States of America, my lifestyle began to catch up with me. I developed acute bronchitis. Also, the trips to the free health clinic for urinary tract infections were killing my immune system. I was dying.
Wow. Because it was so much inordinate infection. It was so much, sex that was going on. He's saying, look, he had to keep going back to the free clinic just to get right, man. The Most High was taking his body out. Kept getting infection after infection. I'm telling you, man, that's how we go. When you living in sin, man, it'll catch up to you. It'll definitely catch up to you. This is why the Bible in Ephesians 5:11 says, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. You can't play on both sides.
One night after coming home from the club, I prayed. I can't even remember what I said, but the prayer is what sparked the prayer was a hangover from the club. I woke up the next morning and the thought came to my mind to fast off of meat for 30 days. I obeyed. What did I have to lose? And at the time, I wasn't following Jesus Christ. In fact, I was studying things like the Nation of Islam, and I was studying the Holy Tabernacle Ministries under Dr. Malachi Z. York. So, after about 2 weeks into this fast, I stopped using drugs, stopped going to the strip clubs, stopped hitting the streets for hookers. All those desires was just leaving me. I'm just blaming it on maturity. I went home for New Year's Eve, headed to a party. But somehow that night, I ended up in church. And the message was clear. The minister preached about family. And that time I had no wife or children. I was 35 years old. Then the things...
Man, he was 35 years old. So he carried on with this for a while. This is not something that he changed in college. Those spirits and entities followed him way outside of college. Why? Because he made those pledges. He made those oaths with the darkness. And I'm telling you, he's breaking it down to what took place. And better bet your bottom dollar that these fraternities, that all of them have some level of this darkness, but bet your bottom dollar that your Steve Harveys, your Ricky Smileys, and all of them, they seen a lot of things that they will not tell you. And then you always see Steve Harvey all on the television crying and whatnot, trying to be a minister, trying to be a fake preacher and whatnot. Listen, ain't no way you can be pledging and an active member of one of these cults and be serving the Creator. It just don't work like that. You can't serve two masters.
That it spiritually began to take off for me. I was soon on the road with several famous stars in a gospel play called Mama D's Girls. It felt real good. In fact, I decided to do a gospel CD to balance out, sort of like, P. Diddy or Death Row doing a gospel CD.
He was trying to balance his energy out. Yo, thank you for the $5 contribution. Hunky the Don says, there's some information. Our cousin Jamal was in this group, and he was one sketchy cousin. Me and my wife Barbara watching this video. This Hunky from DC. Thanks, Hunky. I appreciate the support.
To balance out the hardcore music I was doing across the tracks in Carolina. Then I ended up at a church in Atlanta, Georgia. I did not have a Bible. In fact, I had not read a Bible since I was 15 years old. It was crazy. The only Bible verse that I remember was John 14. Let not your heart be troubled. Believe in God, also believe in me. In my Father's house there's many mansions. And further down in that verse it says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father but by me. The whole time till I was 35, I was carrying the words of Jesus in my head. And it would pop up out of nowhere.
Wow. And just think about it. The Omega Psi Phi want you to believe that they the Alpha and they the Omega. They want you to believe that they are the ones that you should follow. When all along, it's already embedded in you, the direction you got to take. If we have any cussing in the chat, moderators, please do your due diligence and block them. And I'm going to be handing out more wrenches later on this evening, because it seems like there's a lot of trolls slipping into the chat nowadays. All right.
I would just shake it off. Because even though my spirit was talking to me, my flesh was talking a little bit louder. I remember being in the parking lot of New Birth, Atlanta in 2001. And, somebody was talking over the loudspeaker from the inside the church. And he was like talking about doing something foolish while he was in college. I was like, what is he talking about? But it sparked my interest. So as I started walking into the church and saw this man, Minister Terrell Murray on the pool, he was talking about getting branded when he was in college in Atlanta. I went in after the sermon, walked.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, they actually be branding these people, man, like damn cattle. Now imagine you bending over for a grown man to take a hot iron and sear your behind. You getting branded by these people like you are like you an animal on a farm, bruh. They're literally melting your skin, searing your skin. Yo, they do your arms. Some people they getting them in the behind, getting them on the back, getting them on the lower back. There's people that's got that little horseshoe right on their lower back. Grown men with horseshoes seared on their lower back. They got a Q-Dog tramp stamp out here. That's what's going on in these colleges. Dorm rooms smelling like burning flesh because they in there cooking your behind. They own you. So a person who is such as Ricky Smiley, I'm pretty sure that he has a lot of trauma and fear in him. I looked at his videos. I went over his videos. I seen more fear and anxiety than anything. He didn't look to be mourning. He looked afraid, and he looked like he has a lot of secrets, and the man looks emotionally distraught. Imagine he been dealing with all those demons for all those years. I'm pretty sure you got some people you got to answer to, Ricky. Crazy.
Right up to him and saw that he was a Q. He had the biggest Omega brand I'd ever seen through one of them, Eddie Long muscle shirts. I could see his brand right through the shirt. But I still wasn't ready to give up Omega or hear anything about my brands or my tattoo. So I just gave him my CD, told him I'm about to be out, and left. After hearing my testimony, members of the church from New York asked me, if you had the opportunity and we took care of your room and board, would you come to New York City? I was like, yeah. In fact, that church, Destiny Worship Center, gave me my first Bible. And about 3 months later, after that monumental transaction, the Bible gift, I was out of there. I would read a little day by day. It was my sleeping pill at night. I grew stronger and stronger in the word.
See, that's how it goes, man. For anybody who's in those fraternities, you got to turn to the Most High Yah. You have got to turn to these scriptures. Peel it open. Start off with the book of Proverbs so you can gain the wisdom needed. Go to the book of Psalms so you can have those fervent prayers against those around you who trying to mislead you. And then start going into the fiber of the word, such as the book of Deuteronomy, to find out, what your identity is. Go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. You know what I'm saying? Then you want to go ahead and take it up, take it up to the book of Corinthians and then Numbers and just read a little bit here and there, bro. And I'm telling you, man, whatever spirit is plaguing you, the Most High God will release it from you, bro. This is a powerful testimony.
Then one day after the September 11 bombing, I woke up on the couch in this house speaking in tongues. A couple weeks
I ain't with that speaking in tongues nonsense unless you speak in a real language. But
later, I ended up at a revival where in the Haitian church where a man from Nigeria was preaching, Reverend Anunzia. There were many people in the back of the church praying when the revival minister's wife prayed for me. And that's when I went in the air and landed on my forehead. I thought I cracked my skull. It was on a hard cement floor. And I was struggling to get up the floor for a few seconds. Then I was totally knocked out, blacked out. When I got up, nobody was around me.
It's because whatever spirit and demon was operating in that brother, he was trying to, vanquish it. And that's a serious testimony. The man turned to the scriptures, got out of that fraternity, and we got to applaud that. We definitely got to applaud that. I want to go to your boy, D.L. Hughley, as he's talking to Ricky Smiley some time ago about what becoming a Q dog meant to him. Right? That's what I want to go to. I want you to peep this. Yeah, that brother was under years of bondage. Years of bondage.
Leader. How you doing? It's been a long time, and I couldn't be more happy about it, man.
Man, we are so happy, man. On behalf of all the brothers, I'm sure the radio brothers. I spoke to Steve day before yesterday, and man, we were just happy.
They just all peas in one damn pie. He just talked to Steve Harvey the other day, D.L. Hughley, and we talking about these are all brothers around the same age group, and they're all successful. They get promised fortune and fame, man. I'm telling you, when they take the oath, they get certain promises, they get certain amenities, certain trinkets. They get preferential treatment in a whole lot of areas. I'm telling you, man, those oaths that they took. Let's go.
Having a conversation, man. We really excited, man. Thank you, man, for everything that you do for our communities and political awareness, standing up for our people. And welcome to the frat. All the bros are listening right now. So, how you feel?
Man, I tired. I got a lot of reading to do.
Only thing D.L. Hughley does is push the left-wing narrative. All he does is push the agenda. All he does is race bait. He's an agent of chaos. That's all D.L. Hughley is, bro. A straight agent of chaos that wants to cause racial divide. And I hate how they try to make these people seem like they're humanitarians and they're not really doing nothing for the people. Anything they do is tax write-off. D.L. Hughley's not standing up for us. How? This is crazy.
I'm tired, man. I got a lot of work to do, but I'll say this: it has been, and you know this because you know me for a long time. It's always been a lifelong dream, and I work really hard. And
they all know each other, bro. You PB said you knew me for a long time. They all knew each other from the Brotherhood. They all been in cahoots for a while in the Brotherhood. Perhaps this is what Ricky Smiley didn't want to lose. He didn't want to lose the connections. He didn't want to lose his paycheck. He didn't want to lose the Brotherhood. And they already speaking in code with the hand on the chin. I'm telling you. Somebody said, the one says, that's why the boule is. They portray black improvement. That's what the boule is. They portray black improvement to give the mind state of progress when really they're agents. That's exactly what it is. Because what are they doing for the people? They're not even telling us what our true identity is to help us set ourselves free. No, I'm telling you, man, these people are agents, bro. Straight up.
You know, for me, it had been something I wanted and it hadn't been possible for a long time. But I thank you and cats like you and Steve, and thanks just to because they really pushed hard for me, man. They bumped hard for me, man. And in my chapter 12, the top chapter, man, I couldn't be more excited.
So he got moved up in the ranks. And notice D.L. Hughley said, yo, I want to thank you and Steve Harvey for vouching for me. So that would tell you that Ricky Smiley is higher than D.L. Hughley in the ranks. Perhaps Ricky Smiley is about to become a 33rd degree Mason. Maybe he's being transitioned from the Prince Halls onto the York Rite or the Scottish Rite. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they all just want to be like the Greeks. They all just want to be like the Romans. That's why they stake claim to being Greek. How can you be a black Greek fraternity? So perhaps it was time for Ricky Smiley to move up. He the one brung D.L. Hughley in. Somebody said, was Kevin Samuels in a frat too? Yes, he was. Matter of fact, if you go back to my old videos, when Kevin Samuels first passed, I let it be known that the first people who announced his passing was his frat brothers. That's pretty much customary. I think Kevin Samuels was Kappa though. Yeah, I mean, see, these people don't have no connection with the Most High. They have a brotherhood and they all sworn into the same thing. And the way that D.L. Hughley is speaking, like he just happy to be initiated. And we don't know what his initiation process was, but for whatever reason, they trusted him in. They trusted him in.
I'm very excited, man. For me, I had always wanted it, but I'd never gone to college.
He always wanted it, but he never gone to college. So this would tell you, now, ladies and gentlemen, this would tell you. Now, see, this is very telling that this is deeper than just a college group. This is the Black Boule. Because he didn't even go to college. He always wanted to be a part of it. Yo, he was initiated outside of it. So that means the industry can initiate you. You can be initiated through the industry. By who you know. So I'm telling you, this is a secret club. Now let's bring the likes up on the video. Let's bring the likes up. Because this is very telling to how this organization works, how they recruit. You could be sworn in as an honorary member without even attending college. Just based on what your affiliations are, based on what kind of influence you got. But we don't know what type of rituals D.L. Hughley had to do, because in order to gain the trust of Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey, you had to know about certain things. See, D.L. Hughley, he kept quiet on a lot of things. He kept quiet in the Bernie Mac situation. Yeah, he kept quiet. He know what happened. He was in the loop. D.L. Hughley, he's been silent for a while. Because I know y'all believe that Bernie Mac died of natural causes. I don't believe that at all. Bernie Mac knew too much. And Bernie Mac didn't want to be a part of the fraternity. He didn't want to be a part of the order. I believe they lined him up. But D.L. Hughley, one of the kings of comedies, he kept quiet. Wow, book chapters. There we go, my brother. Hold on, let me get back to that. 2 Maccabees 4:15. Not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians, best of all. But liking the glory. Pardon me. Let's read that one more time. Let's read it one more time. Not by the honors of their fathers, meaning they didn't follow their forefathers, the original bloodline, but liking the glory of the Grecians, best of all. Y'all want to pledge Greek? Don't them scriptures jump off the page? No, y'all want to be Greeks. So anything you do would be the will of the Romans, the will of the Grecians. Yep.
So whenever people talk to me about mentoring people, I always felt like an imposter because I'm like, I'm everything. I would tell children to work hard, but I'd never, and go to school, and I'd never done it. So it would have been, I'd have felt like an imposter, man. But working with an organization and being a bro and just doing what I can to do to work with the community.
Yeah, you working with that organization. Is it the same organization that put Ricky Smiley's son to rest? Remember, Ricky Smiley said out of his own mouth, and y'all heard it in the previous stream. Ricky Smiley said, hey, he never thought he would be a part of an organization in which he had to bury his child. Y'all remember he said that, right? That's what he said out of his mouth. So the question is, D.L. Hughley, how far are you willing to go? How far are you willing to move up the ranks? Because one thing about it, your little tired ass antics with your political rhetoric that you be spewing out and your race baiting is getting old now. People ain't really buying into that. Your talking points are outdated, homie. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. So what's next?
Better and stronger, and I'm really excited about serving, man. I am. I haven't
absolutely,
been
man.
a long time. My wife gets so mad. My wife's like, "You ain't even that excited to see me. I've seen you for years now."
So you more excited about pledging with the boys than seeing your wife. You more excited about being part of the boys group, the fraternity. You more excited about being in the order. That's crazy, man.
hey man, I tell you, man, nothing brought me greater joy than to become a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. It really brings tears to my eyes because, you know, I didn't have a father and I didn't have a brother, man. And I came into this organization, man. I ended up with all kind of father figures, big brothers, little brothers.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Let me tell you something. The Bible will make a man out of you. The Bible will make a man out of you. And this is what happened with these organizations. They always taking advantage of young men who are, you know, fatherless. And, you know, not to disrespect. Well, it doesn't matter how you take it. But at the end of the day, Ricky, we can tell that you didn't have no father figure. I don't know if it's you dressing up as Bernice and acting out the role of a woman, but we can tell, bro. So, you know. But when you seek the Creator and you seek truth, the Most High have a way of making a man out of you, bro. He have a way of making a man out of you. And you ain't got to be Sister Bernice out here. I'm just saying.
Nephews now, you know, they be hitting me up, you know, talking about, Unc, how you feeling, you know, and, you know, just it has one of the greatest things ever happened to me in my life, man. And Buddy Lewis and all y'all bros out there on the West Coast, man, on behalf of the 7D, on behalf of Alpha Phi, Sorrow chapter, Kappa Beta chapter, and the Mighty YE chapter, you know, man, we welcome you into this great, wonderful, awesome organization, man.
So D.L. Hughley's part of the organization. He was sworn in. He was sworn in. He didn't even go to college, which would tell you that these people, the way these people operate, you don't need to go to college. They have to just, you have to do certain things. Yeah, somebody said they are cowards trying to take advantage of people without fathers. That is true too. That's true too. They prey on the weak. They prey on those who are in need of a brotherhood. And that's a damn shame that people don't want to be cool with you without the brotherhood. Let me tell you something, man. There was a sister that was talking in regards to joining a fraternity. Sometime last year, I did a video on this. And you know the crazy part? This sister was very unpopular in college. She talked about how nobody paid her any attention, how she was ignored. Nobody would sit next to her. She couldn't get a date. And all of a sudden, when she pledged, she gained a large following practically overnight. How all of a sudden her Instagram followers went up. All of a sudden she started getting more dates. All of a sudden people who didn't even look her direction started sitting next to her, talking with her, looking out for her, and befriending her. What kind of demonic nonsense is that, ladies and gentlemen? Limited Tag says, I remember that. So did Courtney Johnson. Y'all remember that video, right? That's the thing, man. What kind of demonic spirit is over these people where they can act like you don't even exist? And then all of a sudden, through this oath, they just love bombing you all over the place. They just, anything you need, anything you want. Y'all don't find that rather weird? You can't trust nobody like that. A person like that will line your ass up in a heartbeat for that organization. Only thing somebody got to do is say, listen, this person is no longer a part of us, and we're going to line this person up, and they would do it. Real talk. Because that's some strange stuff right there. What kind of hypnosis, MK Ultra, mind control is over these people where they can just flip the switch on you that quick? I wouldn't want to trust nobody who can change how they feel about me based on something I pledged. I wouldn't want to be around no people like that. That seemed like a very toxic environment. Insane.
And just wanted to say congratulations to you. I went on to play Atomic Dog for you because you're a big brother and a mentor. I'm still trying to be like you when I grow up, man. I just absolutely love you, man.
You know, the funny thing is, I'm old and new now. I'm a 56-year-old Neo.
So here, 50. So you wait 56 years of your life to become a damn Q dog.
Emotional damage.
What is the incentive? You mean to tell me you've been holding your own all this time, DL, and then all of a sudden you decided to join a damn fraternity? That's some crazy stuff right there.
Right. But I couldn't be more excited, man. It's something I've always wanted. It's the only thing I remember when my brother-in-law, the first Q I'd ever met, I was like 19, and he'd gone away to college, and the way it made him stand, and the way it made him act, and the way it made him serve, and how proud it made him. It had been it's a lifelong dream, and I hate that. It's so weird because, you know, I've had children and watched them grow up and watched them marry. I'm on my way to being a grandfather, and I hate to. And I've loved comedy, but I've never.
Now all of your children, grandchildren, and so forth are in jeopardy. You should have just held your own, bro, and doing what you had to do instead of trying to join some club to be accepted in your late 50s. That's crazy, bro. You don't even know how bad that sounds. You mean to tell me you was at a point, but it seems like that you was at a crossroads in your career, and that you at a point where if you don't get down with some organization, your career is pretty much done. That's what it seems like to us, looking from the outside looking in.
Felt quite like this, and I'm just really excited to be a proud member of Omega Psi Phi, man. It makes me, it was very emotional because I just didn't think it was possible, and I've accomplished so many things that I'm proud of. But this has to, and I have to be quiet because my wife will hear me, but I can't tell you what has made me, it's hard to tell you what has made me prouder than this.
Man, listen, man, hey, I hope it brings joy to your life, man. You're going to have a good time with the frat. You're going to love the clay. Hey, I'm going to tell Ashcan, that's a brother from Virginia, he going to set you out with some Paro. I'm going to teach you a couple of hops. I got a whole hop.
Oh, yeah, my knees got to get ready for that now.
Right, 56-year-old hopping and buck dancing. For the record, those dances that you see the fraternities doing is buck dancing for their Grecian predecessors and owners. When they took you over here on cargo slave ships, they would make you boys dance. They would put you on the front porch and they would make you dance. And peep this, the Greek or Roman man would be aroused by the way y'all buck dance. Do that buck dance, boy. And they would sit up there and they would get aroused. That was the nature of what you guys are doing. All of those little stomp the yard, effeminate looking dances you doing, that was to arouse the slave master. Because by nature, a lot of the Grecians, you know, they playing on the other side. Yeah, a lot of individuals didn't know that that's actually the nature of the dances y'all doing.
Yeah. Hey, Buddy Lewis ran on stage one time and set out a hop and messed up his whole knee. They had to take him out.
Yeah,
so
I
we
know.
don't get you, Buddy.
Why this man still sound like Lil Darryl when he talk, man? That's crazy. Why he still sounding like Lil Darryl? That's crazy, bro. Let's go.
Lewis hit that spin, you know, he an alpha bro, Howard University. So Buddy Lewis hit that spin and took him off in the car a couple of times. But,
Yeah. Well, y'all
we got a nice
Dancing with the Stars, so I wouldn't know.
we got a nice hop for bros in their 50s, man. But we absolutely love you, man. And thank you for being a leader and a mentor to me. From the Kings that come, man, forget before the Qs. Man, when you was the original host of Comic View, and for me to be able to follow in your footsteps, man, and when you had twists, I had twists. When you got your twist cut in the fade, I cut my twist in the fade. When you had wore cross colors, I wore cross colors. And watching you open up, do the Kings of Comedy, I remember opening up for the Kings a couple of times, and you have always been nice and motivated me. You are a mentor and a big brother. You, Steve, Cedric, and Bernie Mac was nice to me, man. I love you, and I'm just.
Back. And now you my big brother, ain't that so?
Oh, you hear him throw out? You hear who he just threw out? Cedric, Bernie Mac. I'm telling you, how these relationships are formed, through silence, man.
Motivated me. You are a mentor and a big brother. You, Steve, Cedric, and Bernie Mac was nice to me, man. I love you.
All were members. Even Bernie Mac was a member. But Bernie Mac didn't want to get down with the get down. Bernie Mac didn't want to go all the way with it. But Ricky Smiley and the secret fraternity, they've been watching D.L. Hughley for a minute. So, it is what it is. D.L. Hughley kept his mouth shut, so he's an honorary member of the fraternity. He's in the group.
Love you. And I'm just.
Back. And now you my big brother, ain't that something?
Right.
Yeah, see, everything for brotherhood. Ain't that much brotherhood in the damn world, bro. I don't know about you brothers, but I don't need a bunch of brothers. I only need a few brothers that's gonna represent. But these guys, they some strange men, bro. Real talk.
Right. We're going to hook up, man. Ladies and gentlemen, 9 minutes after the hour, y'all, welcome to the frat from all the Qs from the 7D to you, D.L. Hughley, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it is what it is, man. It's a real dark game, bro. It's a real dark game. I don't think it's a coincidence that Ricky Smiley's son perished mysteriously on 100-year anniversary of the Q Dogs. We talking about he passed away mysteriously the morning of. Hey, they telling you what it is, man. It's right there in plain sight. Ricky Smiley told you. He never would have thought that he would have lost his, he never would have thought he was a part of an organization. This is his words, where he have to bury his child. Those are his words. Only 32 years old. Is the Brotherhood worth it, man? Your Michael Jordans, your Shaquille O'Neals, your Ricky Smileys, your Steve Harveys, they are part of the black gatekeepers, and there's many, many more. I oblige any of you brothers and sisters who are attending college to do yourself a service and get away from these individuals. The hazing is not worth your eternal soul. The connections are not worth your eternal soul. Promises are not worth your eternal soul. One thing that's proven is that you can be successful without it. That's what they don't want to show you. If I can turn back the hands of time, I would have just kept on pushing in college until I got that degree without joining the fraternity, even though I would have had to work much harder, because that's what it is. When they see that you're a talented individual who's articulate and you have certain gifts, they'll try to recruit you in college because they can recognize greatness when they see it. And they made it very difficult for me to graduate because I refused to join. I don't even know why at the time. I just didn't do it. But I refused to join the fraternity. And at the end of the day, I got frustrated and just dropped out. I felt like college wasn't for me. And I explain to people all the time, people who graduate from college are not necessarily the smart ones. And I'm talking about book smart. A lot of the time is because you connected. There are some of them Q dogs that graduated from college who didn't even go to class. Are you hearing me? They graduated. I'm talking about they took positions in student body, such as student body president, all kind of titles. And they didn't even go to class, bro. But because they joined the Q dogs, because they was in the fraternity, they got special treatment. They were connected. They wasn't the smartest people. I'm telling you now. Somebody said, Newbury, what's the reason for that picture with your finger touching your head? Well, that video, that particular picture is from a video where I'm speaking about the right side of your brain and how we must use it. That's what I'm talking about in the video. That's the context of the video. Because there's actual scriptures that talk about using the right side of your brain. Everything is not Masonic, sir. So if you want to know why that picture has that, matter of fact, let me bring the scripture up for you. The Bible says, prove all things, and I'm going to do so. I believe it's in the book of Ecclesiastes. And then I'll explain it for you. Yep. It's let me get that for you. Second Kings 10. Oh no, actually. No, it's in Ecclesiastes. I just need to find the scripture real quick. Ecclesiastes 10:2. There it is right there. Ecclesiastes 10:2. A wise man's heart is at his right hand, but a fool's is at his left. So what you don't understand is the context of the video that you see that picture was talking about how when you use the left side of your brain, what ends up happening is you get more carnal. You start seeking pleasure. and you start seeking lust. See, there's a science to the way our brains operate. Now, on the right side, on the other hand, you're more so into your imagination, spiritualism, intellect. And you got to understand a lot of things that is common knowledge to us, they stole it from us. So for the record, I'm not a part of anything. I don't have no organization. I stand alone. So I hope that answered your question. If you go back to the actual video I did, that was the context of that picture. Yeah, God designed us very complex. When you're on the right side, you're dealing with wisdom, you're dealing with creativity, you're dealing with those type of things, spiritual matters. Not saying that you shouldn't use the left side. You're supposed to use both sides of your brain. Because on the left side, you have things such as lust, which is important too if you want to make babies, right? On the left side of your brain is when you can typically calm down and rest at night, things of that nature. But the video is about using both sides of your brain and being balanced. But I'm pointing to the right in the thumbnail. Okay, the person said they understood. I get it. I know, but I'm just explaining. Somebody said, I'm a member of Me Fi Me. Oh, you funny for that. I guess that means you standing all alone. Yep. So it's about balance, man, in the Lord, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it is what it is, brothers and sisters, man. Stay away from these fraternities. Stay away from these individuals who don't accept you as who you are. We're not Greeks. We're not Romans. We're not none of those things. I love each and every one of y'all, man. It's always an honor and a pleasure to build with y'all. I got more content coming soon. I want y'all to have a blessed night, and I will talk to you very soon. Y'all have a blessed one. Shalom and peace.